You are responsible for everything that happens in your life. You're responsible for your past, you're responsible for your present, and you're responsible for your future. You're responsible for the quality of your relationship. You're responsible for the success that you have in life and in your career. You're responsible for the physical part of your body and what kind of shape it's in. You're also responsible for your financial picture. You are 100% responsible for you. Until we get this, really get it and move it from up here to here, we're doomed to stay in that lower quadrant of feminine energy and be a victim. When we're a victim, what happens is we don't attract good things into our life. Instead, we continue to attract more and more difficulty, digging us deeper and deeper into that pit of feeling like a victim, feeling like all of this is happening to me. And if you've ever found yourself in this place, I've got great news for you. There's a path out. There's a way to get out of that pit. And I want to share those things with you today. But before I do, I want to remind you to like and subscribe to this channel. I really appreciate everybody who does. It really helps this channel grow and get the message out to other guys who are struggling in their lives. Now, I get this idea of taking responsibility for everything that happens to you, past, present, and future, is a difficult pill to swallow. We feel like if we take responsibility, that means we're the ones to blame. But I can also tell you this, if you swallow that pill, your life will change dramatically. And I want to tell you about how you can make some changes in your life today that are going to really lift you up out of that place of being a victim and into a place of being a victor. I know it's corny. Now, I can tell you that the vast majority of the men that I work with in my coaching profession come to me because they're in pain. And almost every single situation, they're in pain because they choose to stay in that lower quadrant of victimization. Hopefully, through our coaching together, I can get them to see that they're responsible for everything that has happened, will happen, and is happening in their life at this moment. And when they're able to take responsibility for that, like I said, amazing things start to happen. I grew up with this idea that I was owed something. There's an entitlement that I had that I would grow up, go to college, meet the love of my life, get married, have 3 kids, find a career, work up until the point of retirement, and then travel for the next 20 years. And guess what? That didn't happen. In fact, the opposite happened. I got married. It was an unhappy marriage, and I had a child who had disabilities, and the career that I had was something that just wasn't going anywhere. I was completely stagnant. I just became this victim. I just decided that if this is the best that life has to offer, I guess I'll just sort of wallow in my self-pity. I drank too much. I was lazy. I wasn't a good husband. Really wasn't a great father. And the more I lived in that space, the more I felt trapped. I couldn't see a way out of this. And that's part of the problem of being a victim is it's really difficult sometimes to see the way out. You see all of the bad things that are happening. And a lot of that is because you're attracting negative things into your life because you're in the victim state. And when you're in the victim state, you tend to attract more and more things that happen to you that push you down deeper and deeper into that state of being a victim. Now, you might be saying, Chuck, none of these things that have happened in my life are my fault. I didn't choose the family that I grew up with. I didn't choose my DNA. I didn't choose the town that I grew up in. All of these things are happening to me. I have no choice in this. And that's absolutely true. There's a lot of things in life that have happened to you that you've had no choice in. There's a lot of things that have happened to me that I had no choice in. And there's a lot of things that have happened to me that I have had choice in. And I tend to overlook my choices of the things that I can do and replace that with thinking about all of the things that are happening to me that aren't my fault. Do you mean to tell me that I have to take responsibility for things that aren't my fault? And the answer is yes. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're walking down the street and a car comes and it hits you and it knocks you off your feet. And then you're laying in a ditch and your leg is broken. Is that your fault? No, but It is your responsibility to seek medical attention. It's your responsibility to take care of your leg and rest it while you're in that healing state. And it's your responsibility to go and show up to the physical therapy that you need afterwards to strengthen the muscles around that leg that have atrophied. If you didn't take responsibility, what would happen? You would be laying in this ditch, waiting and waiting for somebody to come along and rescue you. And there's a good chance you'd be waiting a really long time. This is how it is with everything in our life. There are many things that are not our fault. But if we don't take responsibility for them, all we end up doing is laying in the ditch, waiting for somebody to come along and rescue us. And waiting to be rescued is the epitome of being in the victim state. And when you're in the victim state, you're not attracting good things into your life. I want to give you 3 points that you can use to help you get out of that victim mentality and into the victor mentality. The first thing is we have to recognize that everybody makes mistakes. In fact, I make mistakes all the time. It's when I don't take responsibility for my mistakes, I stay in that victim state. So not only do I have to take responsibility for things that happen to me that aren't my fault, I have to take full responsibility for the things that are my fault. If I say I'm going to be someplace and I get distracted and I'm late, it's not the other person's fault that I'm late. It's my fault. And if I don't take responsibility for that and learn to correct that behavior, then what's going to happen is I'm going to start disappointing a lot of people. And that negative energy is going to come back into my life and it's going to push me back down into that place of being a victim. So it takes a radical decision to take full responsibility for everything that's happened to me that's not my fault, and everything that's happened to me that is my fault. If it's something that isn't my fault, I've got to make a correction. If it's something that is my fault, I need to make a correction. Instead of hiding my mistakes, I need to address them. I need to make sure that I learn from those things. I think that's the most important lessons about not being a victim is all of these things that have happened to you and all of the mistakes that you have made are simply learning experiences for you to be able to grow and develop and become the best version of yourself. The second point that I want to make is watch your words. I'm often surprised at the words that the guys that I work with choose to say about themselves. They'll say things like, oh, I can't do that, or that's too hard. If I tried that, she wouldn't respond. All these words keep us trapped in the place of victimness. What is it that you're saying about yourself? What is it that you say about other people? If those words are judgments, then those judgments keep me stuck in the place of being a victim. Learn to be impeccable with your words. Use words that are forward thinking, that are success words. Don't use words like, I can't, or this isn't my problem. I'm just unlucky. These words keep you stuck, playing small, and being the victim. My third point is accept the fact that you are responsible. It's when we don't accept this fact, when we argue with reality, that's when we suffer. When we are saying, I shouldn't have to take responsibility, they should have to take responsibility for this. What I'm doing is I'm arguing with reality. And yes, taking responsibility is hard. Everything in life that is worth doing typically is hard. If it were easy, everybody would do it. But when you look around you and you look at the vast majority of people, how many of them choose to not take responsibility for the things that are causing them suffering in their own lives? How many of them are choosing to not get coaching or choosing to not get the education that they need? How many of them are choosing to just do the same thing over and over again, hoping for different results? But that's not you, right? That's not you, because you wouldn't be watching this video all the way up to this point if that were you. Instead, you know that you need to take responsibility for things. So what is it that you need to take responsibility for? I want to hear from you. Write in the comments. Tell me, what is it that you need to take responsibility for in your life to make a change, get yourself out of that lower feminine quadrant and move yourself up into that higher masculine energy where you're moving forward and you're penetrating the world with your love. That's what I got for you today. I hope it was helpful. Please, again, remember, like and subscribe and comment. And I will see you next time.